just was this legend coming out of Mexico, everybody talking about him, a Mexican with red hair.
Canelo Álvarez is a multiple-time world champion, having dominated no fewer than 5 different weight divisions. His somewhat orthodox style and red hair have captured the mainstream since his first competitive fight nearly 2 decades ago. Not much of a showman, Canelo heavily relied on his power, often bulldozing through his opponents and landing that single heavy knockout blow. Once that devastating right hand connects, it is almost certain that his opponents will be unable to answer the referee's count. The bout between Baldemir and Canelo was one for the ages. Baldemir was sure that he would knock out El Canelo, already focusing on his next opponent. Given the major age difference between the two, Canelo had a distinct advantage, but Baldemir vowed to not let age stand in his way. It is worth noting that Baldemir even missed the weigh-in by more than 2 pounds. Baldemir came out of the blocks with speed and precision, immediately attacking Canelo, but the Mexican would use his natural defensive talent, dodging and blocking the initial onslaught. One of Baldemir's biggest weaknesses was apparent from the second round onward. His age was certainly affecting his speed quite significantly. Baldemir's onslaught continued, expending far more energy than Canelo as the fight went on, dropping his guard time and time again. Álvarez capitalized each time his Baldemir dropped his guard, eventually flushing out more and more weaknesses from his opponent. It was Álvarez who landed a flush left hook on his chin in the 6th round, which sent his opponent reeling and down to the canvas. A loud thud could be heard as his head crashed down. Even though Baldemir did try to beat the count, his efforts were in vain. Referee Jose Cabian counted him out at 2 minutes and 28 seconds in the 6th round, sending the crowd into a frenzy. After the fight, Álvarez noted just how slow his opponent was, which heavily favored him during the bout. With this victory, Álvarez became only the 2nd boxer to stop Baldemir in his tracks, and the first ever man to knock Argentine out. In early January 2015, it was announced that Álvarez and Kirkland had agreed to a non-title bout. Both fighters had been struggling to agree on a date, but it was finally set for May 9, 2015. This was just a week after the highly anticipated Mayweather-Pacquiao bout. The fight seemed like your traditional orthodox boxer versus a southpaw opponent. But the fight also marked Álvarez's first bout, which formed part of his new lucrative HBO contract. Both fighters were hyping the media, with Kirkland not shying away from voicing his thoughts on the upcoming bout. In fact, many would consider Kirkland his most dangerous opponent yet.
The way I'm going to fight Canelo Álvarez, it's not going. One thing I know for a fact, the fight is not going to last 12 rounds.
This was heavily driven by the fact that Kirkland had an incredible punching power. He might not have been fast, but once a blow connects, it is certainly something to be felt. But he would soon eat his words. Kirkland came out aggressively after the bell, dominating the early goings.
To the left of your screen, now with his back to you, that's Kirkland trying to put the pressure on immediately. First round, he was down 3 times in that fight, and right now he's just teeing off on Canelo Álvarez. Álvarez trying to weather the storm here in the early going.
Later in the first round, the tides changed, with the Mexican star backing Kirkland into the corner and landing a few massive hits. A devastating right hook would send Kirkland down in the first round.
Left hand, missed with the right.
Kirkland's legs stiffened a little bit from some of those shots. Like I said, he's always been susceptible in the opening round.
Oh, you nailed! And he goes down right on the chin. Just as you said it, he's been all of a sudden Álvarez has snapped right back and has this guy in some trouble here. Uppercuts, right hands.
Smart of Álvarez to...
After wobbling with a straight knockdown, the pressure was mounting on the American, already down on the early scorecard. Even though Kirkland got back up, he was rattled and only had to survive the first round. The second round would almost spell the end of Kirkland, with a flurry of devastating shots connecting the Texas native.
And again! And again! Look at these clean shots! He better answer, or is surely going to step in.
Kirkland's not the kind of guy to hang on. He's not the kind of guy to tie his opponent up. He usually survives rough spots.
It was clear that Kirkland could not muster up the punches, even though a small rally in the middle of the second round did give him a little hope.
His momentum going. He's hell on wheels, and he's very hard to stop once he's warmed up.
Shots here in the second round, as well as dropping him in the first.
If Alvarez thinks that by evading punches, he'll let Kirkland punch himself out, that won't happen. Kirkland is used to throwing like...
The third round proved to be the end for the U.S. fighter. A devastating uppercut sent him onto the canvas, and by the time he got back up, Alvarez had rhythm.
Kirkland does, the uppercut caught him coming forward. Down for the second time in the fight.
But what sealed the deal was the devastating right hand, sending the American down to the canvas once again.
Never gonna give up.
His legs are not there. This time, I don't think...
By the end of the bout, Alvarez landed more than double the punches of Kirkland, sealing a dominant victory. Funnily enough, Kirkland was certainly right when he predicted that the fight would not go the distance, but it was El Canelo once again reigning supreme. Alvarez was clearly dominating the middleweight division. His intense training and devastating power would be on full display, but the British fighter was lurking in the shadows. In the hopes of dethroning Alvarez, Amir Khan moved up 2 divisions to challenge the Mexican. Tensions became clear in the build-up to the fight, with the speed of Khan being heavily touted as the advantageous fighter.
We went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up in the sweat.
The early round proved a problem for the Mexican, often failing to connect. Khan kept his distance, stepping in and out with speed, which seemed to not only cause problems for Canelo, but even frustrate the Mexican powerhouse. The fight was mostly balanced by the time the bell rang.
Right now, Canelo's not moving like he should. He should be giving him a lot more pressure. And he has to be careful that he's...
Amir Khan, the last few years, we've heard it. The other tall, rangy welterweight super middleweight man, Dusty Hernandez-Harrison, who's 29-0.
By the fourth round, Canelo was standing in the middle of the ring, with Khan simply dancing around him and using his speed to his advantage. But the latter stages of the fifth round saw Khan simply running out of juice. His slower movements gave Alvarez an opportunity to close the gap.
Quite a feat. He's so, because Khan already has confidence.
You don't want Khan to get more confident. Maybe you want him to be overconfident, but you don't want him to be so confident that he's effective and he's comfortable and just letting his hands go.
That's quickness from Amir Khan, slipping punches. He's starting to land with more authority now as we get into the middle rounds of this fight.
The British boxer had nothing left in the tank. Alvarez, who could now comfortably close the gap, took advantage. Twice he would feint a jab, loading his right hand. This would pay off the second time when the Mexican feinted another jab and loaded an overhand right, which dropped Khan unconscious.
Wide left hook, nails Khan close to the temple, causes the legs to jimmy a little bit, giving him the jimmy leg. There's a big right hand to the midsection of Amir Khan.
The replay here.
Right over the top, right hand, kind of faking with the jab.
Maybe in the first 5 rounds.
What a shot.
God, it was so sudden.
And his head hit the back of the mat as soon as he went down.
Yeah, that's a
Canelo.
double.
And this is unquestionably the toughest fight at 168 pounds for Canelo Álvarez. I really believe that.
Having successfully defended his title against Avni Yildirim, Billy Joe Saunders would be arguably one of his toughest opponents. The fight was initially marred by controversy as the ring size was disputed. Whilst Álvarez wanted an 18-foot ring, Saunders threatened to withdraw if it was not a 24-foot ring. Saunders also continued complaining about the judges' selection, adding more fuel to the fire with the Mexican only wanting to get on with it. Finally, the fight would be booked, with both fighters in agreement. It would be billed as Face the Fearless, in stark reference to both fighters. Unlike many of his previous bouts, this time the Mexican started strong. He immediately attacked Saunders, setting the tone for the rest of the fight. In fact, the first 7 rounds were given to the Mexicans by most who had borne witness to it. Saunders was clearly shaken by the incredible speed and accuracy of Canelo's punches.
He's got to concentrate constantly, but these big shots from Canelo, he's not really... Oh, there's a right hand.
After a right uppercut to Saunders, it was clear that Canelo was in full control of the bout. Canelo continued moving forward, and while many rounds didn't see any clear connection, it was always the Mexican who would seem like the round winner.
Now he's throwing more power punches.
Put the shots together, get some work, catch the judge's eyes. Don't just sit there and soak up these big counters. It's good work from Billy, nice head movement. Right, so what we're seeing here is a nice little short uppercut on Canelo, almost knocking out the gumshoe of Billy Joe Saunders. And that was one of a rare shot that landed in this round.
Fighting his favor.
Oh, nice left hook from Saunders.
He's always in position to punch. BJ Saunders needs to do catch and counter every single time, right in the breadbasket right there. Canelo felt that shot. This was a good round by Canelo, but catch and counter if you're Billy Joe. Once in the end,
Missing.
and Saunders told us he can't afford to lose rounds or give up an inch, and he's doing exactly what he said. This is a close.
With Saunders in full retreat and eating uppercut after uppercut, there was no way for him to win this fight.
Predicted they would stop Saunders in either round 7, 8, or 9.
If Canelo's...
He predicted a KO in round 8 or 9. And he's heating up right now.
I don't like the body language, how he's reacting to the feints. Billy Joe Saunders is biting on feints.
To the corner and regroup.
Nice left uppercut from Canelo. This is his best round.
The 8th round finally saw Saunders' team throw in the towel after suffering a fractured orbital bone. Álvarez retained, but more importantly, the Mexican dominated the scorecards and outlanded Saunders 73 punches to 60. By the end of the fight, the Mexican outlanded his counterpart by almost 15 punches, but with both fighters barely landing 30% of their punches, it was quite a defensive bout. What ultimately made the difference was the fact that Álvarez landed a whopping 52% of his power punches. If you're pumped by these electrifying highlights from Canelo Álvarez, don't miss out. Click on the screen to jump into the next video.
It's something that makes me feel strong. I feel fast. I feel comfortable. It's something, I think it's one of my best moments in my life. One of my best moments.